Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of Disclosure Now. And I know I say that a lot, but I really do mean it. Today, we have Christy Campbell, um, who has been putting out a lot of different books. She served under Project Phoenix 2, or what most people know as the Montauk Project, with me as a time soldier. And we've experienced things together that are just kind of beyond the comprehension of most people, almost like the bond that we share and the things that we went through together. It's really intense, and it's detailed in her new book, Electra, Montauk Time Soldier, which I have a copy of, and I did a little video on. I highly
Thank you for
recommend.
buying that.
Of course. And yeah, so that's my introduction to you, but I always love to give people a chance to also introduce themselves. So why don't you do that for
Yeah,
the audience, Christy?
yeah. So thank you for having me on, Arkheim. And I was looking forward to you getting the book and looking it over and reading your part. Because you played such a big role in the Montauk experience for me. You and Joseph were the main characters mostly. Because I always remember y'all two mostly more than the other kids there because I always looked at you guys as the people to look up to or however to be like. So I just finished my third book in the series. It's first I did the Warriors Ledger of the Lecture series, and then the Montauk, and then I just finished the third one today, which was the My Lab. So I've been putting those out, just getting my experiences out so people could see them. They're on Amazon. If you wanted to get them and read kind of what I've been through, my experiences, and um, there's a lot of stuff really that I talk about in there. I kind of go into more detail in the Montauk one there, and then the last one that I just did too. I went into the 20 and back details. um, so that's taken a while. I've been working on these since May. All my books, I have art books and all these. So I just completed like 16 of the art books and then these three. Um, so, um, so yeah, I've been busy doing that for a while.
So people who are supportive of secret space program survivors, um, it's a really good way to support Christy and by extension all of us really
Hmm.
with all the knowledge that you can get from those books, to
Yeah.
purchase her books because there really is a lot of really great knowledge in the material that you share, and there are a lot of fake people in this community. Um, to be honest with you, I'm not going to name any of his names. We're not talking about that today, but I just wanted to say that you are very, very real. I remember you extensively. A lot of it I don't like to remember, which you probably understand, but because it was really dark times. But I want to ask you something. I guess the first question I'll ask you about Electra is the last of her name is Ra. Tra.
Oh,
Electra.
I didn't even notice that.
Do you know if that's intentional, if she was part of the Council of Ra, at
Hmm.
any point, or connected to the religion which was known as Ra, across the galaxy, where people worship the All, worship like the what true God, which is the All Ra. Um, that's just what I remember, and I'm
Hmm.
just wondering if you know if that's part of her name or not.
Feels like it. I didn't ever even think that. I just know her name came to me when I just started. Then I just started kind of thinking, okay, I'm gonna write a series and I'm gonna title it that. And then I started kind of saying, who is Electra? Why do I resonate with that? And then it came in as like my higher self. And I feel like that's just one aspect of a higher self because I feel like we would have like that is my higher self here, but I feel like she has a higher self too. So So she might have a higher self that's connected in that way too, but it would be all one. You know what I mean? So
Were you
that's
ever known as Electra in Black Ops programs in any of them, Montauk or otherwise, or were you
I
given
I
different
have
names?
heard that. I've heard somebody say that, but I don't remember who told me that that was one of my alters. So it could have been one of my alter names.
Because we all had code names, and mine was Dark Phoenix 1138 4B or something like that. Probably a
Hmm.
little off on the numbers, but it was like Dark Phoenix and some numbers. And that's
Yeah,
because there's all the alternate realities and there's alternate versions of me, and that designates what reality I'm from.
right, right.
Yeah. Um,
I bet so. I mean, if you say it, if you think that, it's probably accurate.
that's what I remember.
Hmm.
Um, do you? Some of these questions are going to be really random. I'm going to be honest
Yeah,
with the audience. A lot of these are kind of selfish questions because they're things that I remember, but also I think that might make it a really interesting
yeah.
experience for
Hey,
the.
everybody! Thank you for being here. I just
Yeah,
opened the. There's cat. Is cat in the chat there?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so a lot of these questions are very personal to me, but
Hmm.
also maybe that will make for a really good show. Maybe the
It's
audience will
good for
actually like
you.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's why we came together for the healing part of it. For mostly for you, because I know you take it more to heart with the things. Because I don't feel like I blame you or I've already forgiven everything that you. Yeah, I really didn't. I know that you didn't really do much harm as much as you had harm done to you. So I know y'all protected us in the best way you could, even though you're like a big brother almost, is how I kind of seen it. How you was kind
Yeah,
of like a
there's
big
a
brother and a kind of mean, but that's how big brothers kind of are too. And then you would protect us if you could, but if you got in trouble, then you wouldn't care either. So it just depended on what was going on too, you know?
I remember the part in the book where you were Preston and made us electrocute you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I wanted to say I'm really sorry for that and I'm ashamed of it. And obviously, you know that they made us do that to humiliate all of us, not just you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that was
I,
how it worked. That they
mhm.
had to always humiliate us. And it's in the book how the hazing ritual when the new kids would come, they made all the teenagers and the older young adults be there to watch it, not for any reason other than just to remind them who they are, how they got there, and just kind of re-traumatize them. So, um, yeah, I've been
I
getting
remember
some.
you was kind of altered out in that too. You and Danny, when they were having you do that, y'all were like, notice how I made you look a little bit different in some of them, how you colored your hair. So it's kind of like a different alter where you was kind of depressed in one, and then I seen like the cut marks on that one kid. So I was like, that's you for sure, like you doing that to yourself. And then another time when you was like a punk rock with the hair, like you there was like kind of different alters that you would have. But it was like you and Danny was paired together to do that to the kids as they came in, all the new kids that came in and sitting there and doing it was I didn't put it all in the book because I didn't want to get it censored. You can't put all that because of kids and stuff, but electroshock, sexual trauma, waterboarding, punching in the face and the kicking, everything. That's how you had to do for every kid that. And I guess they just because I remember I was just laying on the floor, and then they made you have tell another kid to come in the chair, and then you was like, okay, get up, like go back over there or whatever. So it was like you know, uh, that's just how you had to do. I don't know. A lot of us could already take it though, because we was already used to being abused in the programs and everything. So it kind of altered out. Like I alter out, and I don't feel anything because it's like my mind just goes somewhere else and I don't feel anything.
Yeah,
Yeah. Same with you.
yeah, it's in the book.
Yep.
It talks about how I would alter out and be able to take any pain, basically.
Mhm.
And yeah, I there's a lot of stuff from Montauk that I still don't remember, but I've gotten some of the darkest memories that I possibly could back. But there's certain ones where I don't even know if I'll be able to remember it. One of the things that is I want to bring up to you and for the audience and stuff, and to just give an example of the kind of things that they would do to us to traumatize us and make sure we were obedient. There's somebody that I know who is not public. When I went public, they got memories back and they reached out to me, and they're not in the SSP community or anything like that. I met them by total random happenstance, which maybe wasn't random, but they told me about a memory that they had of being trained and what their graduation ceremony was. You want to hear what their graduation ceremony was, Christy?
Yeah.
They went to another timeline and killed their entire family.
Oh, that's what they had to do.
They had to kill their whole family and then come back to our reality.
Mm. See what they made us do? That's just
And then
unbelievable.
she said that, or they said that when they came back, um, they
Did
were
they
all
have to remember everything, or did they get mind
no, they
wiped?
were all cheering and there was like a celebration for it, and they're all
Mm.
happy about it.
Mm.
And it was like a disgusting feeling for the person that told us to me, like coming back after killing their own family in another reality, all of them, and
Mm-hmm.
then having them all celebrating it
Yeah.
when they get back to the location of Montauk.
Yeah. I can see that.
And I know that they did stuff that I guess my alters will probably never let me see with me and my trauma twin, like stuff that had to do with like Preston and memory wipes and causing a rift between me and my trauma twin, and then the fact that they took her away
Mm-hmm.
and never brought her back. Do you remember that at all about my story? Because you said I had a really
Well,
sad story.
yeah, because you told me that before when we was in the typical skeptic podcast. We did that with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph. And so you said about how you how they Preston killed her in front of you or something, and then what did you do? Because you punched him or something like that, and his head exploded. Um,
No, that was what it was. Is he made a promise to me that wherever she was safe and she wasn't there anymore. And like, even
mhm.
though I didn't get to be with her, he and for whatever reason I trusted him. I don't know why. I like actually believed him, which was pretty stupid of me. But I guess maybe it was just to keep myself sane to believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I
maybe it's
found
how he said it.
yeah, because he promised that she wasn't here. She's not at Montauk anymore, but wherever she is, she's safe and she's not dealing with the kind of pain and trauma that you got to deal with, right? So that made me feel better. I made him promise me that. In fact, I remember that doing things like missions and stuff where if that was part of the reward was he promised that he would make sure that wherever she went, like he'd keep an eye on her and stuff.
Yeah, see how he did that.
And then
Hmm.
he, of course, what happened was they had these giant yellow containers that you would bring to this room,
Yeah,
and it had bodies in them.
and she was in there, one of them.
Yeah, and it
Hmm.
was it
He
was
made
really.
you see that. He made you open one up and see it and see
He
her
didn't make
there.
me. He was stupid. He didn't know this was all gonna happen. I'm like, or maybe he did, but I doubt it. Because this was there were a few things that moments that kind of gave inspiration to a mutiny happening, and I would say the main one was my second Montauk wife, Sandra, coming back into the base with my son Jason with a triangle of death because they were chasing her down looking for her, and so she just came back to the base on her own accord and then threatened them because she doesn't play games and actually kind of got what she wanted more or less. And they didn't like start training Jason, like because that was one of the things she said they're not going to do that to him. And Other
Was
people,
he? Did you? He make you? He made. They made you beat him up, or him beat you up, or something like that, right?
he was getting sent back in time to undo
Mhm.
my mission. So there was this guy that for hundreds of years, by my accounts and experiences, was like kind of like an arch nemesis that would show up places, undoing things and fighting against me, and seemed really personal, and I couldn't understand what the hell was going on with it. And it was Jason. It was my son from the future.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
another way that they do all this stuff that's kind of like you said on purpose to get in all of our
Mhm.
heads and fuck with us.
Yeah.
And like me leaving the base, I had to leave the base. I think there's a lot of people that are under the assumption that I did that out of privilege, that I
Mm?
was privileged to leave the base after Jason was born. That was not done out of privilege. That was done out of
No.
enslavement. I had to
Yeah.
go work for Marduk in a time bubble where at one point he turned me into a parrot, and I had to watch myself from a cage be ordered to go on missions from Marduk while he laughed at me and threw peanuts at me. Okay?
Oh no.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
know
that.
that.
Yeah, I worked in a when I was gone. Everybody wondered where I was. That's where I would be when I was gone, in another
Oh.
time bubble, working for another fucking group of assholes. I wasn't off on vacation or something. Some people seem to think I was
Mm.
off in fucking La La Land having a great old time. No, I was just in another
No.
time bubble working for another time corporation. That's it.
Yeah. I was seeing that you would have you I was kind of like doing a remote view or something like that, looking over pictures and stuff and just seeing how you would go to different vacated buildings or so, like warehouses, and you just kind of use your hands like that to just blow up the whole place just because you was mad or whatever, you're taking your frustrations out, and there was like holes all in the wall and windows. Like you would maybe even create some of those places and just go and do that too. Just to nobody was even there. It's just to release
You know what
the
I always think
energy.
to myself all the time, Christy, like every single day. Imagine knowing somebody that has that power and that they can open up portals anywhere in time and space. And then imagine being stupid enough to continue to kidnap that person after their memory wipes and their programming starts breaking down. That blows my mind. Like, these people are so greedy that they don't think there's
Yeah.
going to be any repercussion for them taking us now that we're waking up and remembering who we are. Like, you want to know what happened to me recently? I had a group taking me, forcing me to do like sex stuff, like snuff film stuff. So I had to go in there with Drago Reed's alter Yoshiro and some other folks. Rebecca Rose was there and some others. I can't remember the entire group, but we went in there and killed all those pedos and rescued those kids.
Oh.
And I gave them a very clear message, not that they can't just take me like that and make
Hmm.
my sex kitten alters come out and stuff like that and do whatever they want to me, that
Yeah.
I have altars that will protect me. And I'm going to say this for the public record and to these spooks who I know watch the show. I can open portals, same thing with Christy,
Mm.
anywhere in time and space. I can punch holes through walls. Not I know this body, I'm not a super soldier body. That's
Yeah.
telekinesis. That's not my actual arm strength. So it doesn't matter if I'm in this body. That's me using my psychokinetic
Yeah.
abilities along with my body in order to do that. So just because I'm in this body doesn't mean I'm a weak, pathetic idiot that can't fight back.
Mm.
I can punch holes through walls.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just like I'm just letting these people know,
Yeah.
stop taking me. There will be repercussions. Same thing for Christy. Same thing with all of us. You all think you're
Mhm.
so slick and that you can just get away with kidnapping us indefinitely over and over again. Not if our programming's breaking down. Not if we're remembering who we are. Not if we have alters who work in giant, vast empires whose honor you're basically pissing on by making versions of us do stuff. Because,
Mhm.
for example, the version of like Yoshiro and the version of Jacob that went and did that, they are part of the Empire of a Thousand Suns, which is like a Japanese breakaway empire. That is these people that were doing that stuff were Japanese. So that's why I went to Yoshiro, a version of me, and said, "Hey, samurai code, honor, dignity of all human beings, respect. There's a samurai code." And these people were pissing on it as Japanese. That's
Mhm.
we went in there and we are upholding the honor of Japan by doing things like that, or at least the Japanese breakaway, because technically the government of Japan here on Earth and the Japanese breakaway are two different things.
Mhm.
But they are connected. They do know about each other and work with each other, but they are technically separate entities.
Yeah.
But
What do you think with you said my other aspect or so is the starfire or something with fire? Before you said that, like a something with that.
oh,
It's seeing me.
Starfire,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you. So we all have Marvel characters based on us, and I basically think like Starfire is like is Elektra, as
Mm-hmm.
Elektra is Starfire. Like I think that that's
Yeah.
the Marvel character that's based on you, because excuse me, sorry. Even though we were in a really dark place, even there you kind of always had this bubbliness about you, like a bubbly personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could never take that from you, and like kind of like an innocence about you,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's kind of how that character Starfire is, like very bubbly, very innocent, just in like pure ways, like a purity about them, but also like they're really really powerful, like an incredibly powerful warrior. So like I feel like that just I get that. And even your skin tone, like you have kind of this skin tone like her, and every it's just, and the story of where you come from, your original people and your original life, which was basically from like I think it's like the same story as Starfire, like a powerful base of like, or a world where like there was people that could open stargates and do all these powerful things, like this
Mm-hmm.
ET race that was extremely powerful. And it's kind of like where Starfire's story, that's where she comes from. It's like a really powerful ET race. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just think that they took that, and more or less like had to control it, and that's what you were at Montauk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, do you want to? You remember, like you said about, I didn't put it that in the book where you would open up the portal and then put me in like a freezing area or an Antarctica, something
Hmm.
like that, because I that was
Or
your
jungle,
memory.
jungle,
Hmm.
or
I didn't
yeah.
know
So
what
I,
how if that's your memory.
with Preston and all the guys, when we got in there, if we did something wrong, they basically molest us and do sexual stuff and torture
Hmm.
to us 9 out of 10 times. And they told me that I had to punish the kids if they didn't listen to, but they didn't
Hmm.
tell me how. They didn't tell me I had to like sexually torture them or anything, and I didn't want to do any of that stuff. So what I would do is I would just like open a portal to like the middle of nowhere, like Antarctica, or literally the middle of the ocean. Open a portal where they drop into the middle of the ocean and they're just floating in the middle of the open ocean, which is really fucking scary.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, that would be
Uh
scary, and
huh.
this is a kid.
Yeah.
And basically, I'd open the portal again and be like, "Are you gonna listen now? Or are you gonna come after like a minute, 2 minutes, or however long? You know what I
Hmm.
mean?" And they'd be
Yeah.
like, they'd always listen when I bring them back because they don't want to get sent to that portal again. So,
Yeah.
so this whole idea that you have to, like Preston and all those guys tried to make it seem like they had to sexually torture us to get us to listen or something like that, because it's part of the trauma based mind control. But I fuck all that. Like, and I,
Yeah.
and I went, and maybe it is part of the trauma based mind control or whatever. But I did not want
Yeah.
to
You didn't
ever.
do that.
I didn't want to participate in those kinds of things,
Yeah.
and I was forced to. We all were.
Hmm.
Do you remember the room that they would put us all in, and then it would spray out a mist out of a golden pyramid, and then they would send us in a room when we were
No.
kids?
Mm-mm.
You might have not experienced that, but I did.
Tell me.
They would huddle us into a room, and there'd be like a gate, and there'd be like this pyramid in there, and it would like spray out this purple mist, and it was like some sort of like pheromone, and it would make us all like sexually charged, because I mean we're kids, so we don't have those kinds of feelings and thoughts at that age, but it would make you have them, and then they'd send you into a room, and I don't want to describe the things that would be happening, but it would be really really bad things. And then at the end of it, I remember sometimes they would send in Rottweilers to maul all the kids alive, and body
Hmm.
parts and blood being all over the room.
Wow. That's I don't remember. That was with your era, you know?
I guess
I don't
so.
remember that.
Well,
I
I
don't
hope you never do
remember that
have to
part.
remember anything like that.
I can
I
see it. I can see you as you describe it, but I can't feel that I was in there. If I was, then it's been blank
I think I
deleted.
remember talking to Joseph about it, and he remembered it. So it must have just been a
Yeah,
thing that they did earlier, and stopped doing
could have
later or
been.
something.
Because I know they got a lot of kids off of the streets too.
Well, here's the thing: is there are some assets that were extremely powerful, really powerful assets that they pulled in that were positive. Like most of us really were. I mean, some of them were evil in the timelines they came from, and then they worked for evil again here. But mostly, it was good that they were inverting. And I remember there were a few times where, in programming some assets, they broke them to the point where they couldn't function anymore. Like they broke their spirit, and like they couldn't use their abilities and function
Hmm.
as soldiers anymore. And the overseer AI and the overseer just of the operation, which I believe was Pruitt or John D. Alexander, maybe both, but they were pissed. Those two or three times that happened, and it was in a small period, and then they found out about it. And I remember just hearing about it. I wasn't there for it. I just remember hearing about it and how, yeah, there were assets that they were so because that was supposed to be part of our programming. That
Oh.
apparently was programming doing that to us. But in doing and it was those kind of events, it was stuff like that that made these two or three really powerful warriors that would have been incredible assets to the operation no longer even functional and no
Hmm.
longer usable by Project Phoenix.
Because they
So
maxed them out.
because they
Because
maxed
they.
them out,
Yeah.
and so after they did that, yeah, I had to experience things that were so dark that they literally got nixed later. And we were talking about you know how dark are the things we saw. Well, I experienced things that were even darker than that.
Yeah. I know y'all did. That's why y'all kept it. It's like y'all kept us from having to experience that extreme. You know, you'd say, I'll take care of it," and then you would get really mad at us and do those mean things like that. But it wasn't. Well, we could take it because we're used to abuse. You know, we're used to disassociating, and it's like we didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything most of the time, except for if it was some kind of an emotional thing, like the with Jimmy, you know, with that, because that was done intentionally. Preston did that intentionally, you know, with making Jimmy and Raylene get like he had, and then they told me, Raylene, that Jimmy has a lot of babies with a lot of girls, you
Oh,
know.
that made me cry when I read that.
Mhm.
That made me I just
Yeah.
bawled when I read that.
Yeah, because he Preston
He
made
loved
Jimmy
you.
do that a
He
lot.
loved he loved you though.
Mhm. Yeah, we did for sure because that was like a bond we had. Because he would take Raylene in his room, and then he made another like a sub altar in Raylene that he could have just as for himself, like a girlfriend to talk to and stuff like that. So, and then Preston would said, you know, he was probably jealous of the bond, so he made Jimmy
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
always see that's what people don't understand about the favorites
Mhm.
is we were favorites because these guys were perverts.
Yes.
And that was one of the
Mhm.
reasons why we were their favorites. Both me, James, Rocco, and Jimmy were
Mhm.
all you already know.
Yeah.
And the
I
audience
didn't.
knows too.
Yeah, and I didn't remember what Max's author's
Oh
name.
yeah, I'm
I mean the.
sure. I'm sure he certainly went through all the same shit.
Yeah, and then, but he was. I don't know. He didn't interact with us as much
I,
as
rem-
you and
I
Jimmy did.
Yeah, I remember we kind of didn't get along because we were in a competition over girls, which I'm sure was another
Yeah.
intentional thing. And I had a nickname for him. I called him Casanova.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because like that means like a guy that's supposed to be a guy that's like really good with the ladies and stuff.
Mhm.
So I called him Casanova as a joke. But it
Yeah.
was true. He was really good with women. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember the like with teenage girls and stuff. With the he didn't really pay attention to the kids. He liked all the teenage girls and all that. Like
Yeah.
you did too though, and so did Jimmy. You know, but then so until he saw Raylene, there was some kind of a connection. You know, with them.
Mhm.
So something
Yeah.
clicked.
Yeah, that was one of the ways that we could escape the reality of Montauk and that they let us do was through sex. So all of us were having sex with each other, like pretty much all. Like there's a lot of sex going on, and because of that, we would try to get the women to like us or the girls, more. Like I
Mhm.
would try to get the girl to spend more time with you than the other guy, and also try to get them to agree you won't sleep with anybody else, or you won't sleep with this certain person. But it was a very out in the open sexual environment where people just were having sex all over the place because it was one of the only things that we could do where we wouldn't get in
Yeah.
trouble. We wouldn't get in trouble for it. They didn't
Right.
care.
Mhm. Yeah, it was just like y'all ran the place, you know, so you just did whatever
Pretty
until
much.
they came till Preston. And I talk about the old men. I just because I didn't want to say everybody every time. It's just like Preston and Al, and also I saw Stuart there too, you know, with
Hmm.
them. So I seen all three of them.
He
But
was involved in some of the really dark early stuff that I was talking about.
very dark, very dark.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, he
Like,
was.
do you remember him wearing like the black gear, like the
Yeah. Mhm.
BDSM gear and stuff like
Yes.
that?
Yeah, in my
And
mind I
Preston and
remember it. I
Preston
didn't
and
see it,
Preston would
you know.
too.
Yeah,
Preston would too, and he'd do that kind of stuff.
yeah, to y'all, to the guys, to
Hmm. He
you
was a
and
he was a homosexual.
mhm.
Completely did not even like women at all.
No. Mm,
He was a pedophile homosexual.
yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, I knew all about that. And then I just don't think people. It's just really weird. Like all the other kids thought I was so privileged because I got to eat a sandwich every once in a while, or this guy's raping me all the time, and they didn't know what was going on. I don't know. It's just,
It's just you eating. You got to eat, you
yeah,
know?
but everyone thinks I was so privileged or something. And it's like, I guess in some ways I was privileged because I got to do whatever I want, but also, and even for, like some of the stuff, like how I was so angry all the time and I would blow up like that.
Mhm.
That was so people would be afraid of me, and stay away from me.
Yeah, you just
I
had
did that.
enough.
I did that as a way to protect myself.
Mhm.
And the only people that I wasn't like that to, that was a big deal because I was willing to let you in a little bit. But it was like exactly like you say in the book, I didn't let people close to my heart because I'd been
Mm-mm.
betrayed too many times. Not
Yeah.
even necessarily by the individuals that I loved, but
No.
by just the love for them to begin with. Because they could be
Mhm.
anything you loved or anything you cared about at Montauk would be used against you.
Yes. So you had to show zero interest in the things that you even care for.
Like music, even
Mhm.
the music was used against me in weird
Yeah.
ways. Some of them I kind of don't even remember. Like,
Stolen and all
oh,
that. Mhm.
and yeah, for some of the songs, many of these people that are in that are out there that are like, for instance, like Avril Lavigne. The song "I'm with You."
Mhm.
She's my daughter. I had her with my trauma twin. She was conceived at Montauk, my original one, Evelyn, who I'm not sure if you ever even met because she might have been gone by the time you got there. And that's a song I wrote. So, like, they give her a song that I wrote, and just it's kind of like a way of mocking me in a way. I think, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and yeah, I just found out that, like, I'm really proud of my children that I have, but it's just also weird because I don't know what's going on and how dark it is for them. But I also found out that there's a famous Japanese musician named Yoshiro Fukuyama, who is like a really famous guitar player, singer songwriter guy. Plays a Stratocaster, and kind of you can tell he's a big fan of Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And that's my son too. I found out, and I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Elvis
Mhm.
at Montauk? Do you remember seeing
Oh,
him there?
I don't know.
Or how about Judy Garland? She's the from
Yeah.
the from the Wizard of Oz, the actress from the Wizard of Oz.
I don't know how they appeared there. How did they? Because they're not like physical in my mind. I can't really see them like walking in and being there.
They were there.
So I must have not have seen them. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't remember
No,
that.
they were there. They were pretty high up, and Elvis would do a lot of off-world stuff because Montauk wasn't just Earth; it was off-world too. And
Yeah. Do you
most of
remember the one time? Like I think there was a time that they had sent. you know how you had to go and get people after a certain term and you'd say, okay, time is up, you know? So I remember there was a time where I was sent to Mars and like you and someone else took me and just dropped me off at the entryway, it looked like a entryway, front entryway to a like apartment area. And then it would like opened up like spaceship kind of thing. And then that would be my new home. And I was going to be living there for a term or however, but soon I got like a, a husband and had kids, and then you came and said, you know, you have like how much ever time or whatever, and then it's just like time's up, and then y'all came in and pulled us all apart, like the whole family. There was like two or three kids and my husband and me
That
and
was one of the most traumatizing things that we always said that I had to do all the fucking time. It was called an
yeah.
extraction team, and there would be a set time where we had to get you.
Mhm.
And it didn't matter what was going on. And I could explain this to people too, and they never understood. It's like it didn't hit them until it was happening. They never understood, no matter
Right.
how. And I'd be like, if you're gonna have, try to enjoy yourself while you're here. This is a break from the bullshit. Try to have a good time, but you got to do your job, or we're gonna get very pissed off. So do your fucking job. Do it on time. Get it done on time. And if you want, and there'd be missions. It was kind of like one of the only rewards you get. We'd be like, but as long as you do that, do whatever the hell you want.
Mhm.
Anything doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There might be a few like, don't do this, don't do that. If there's certain things we didn't want to change, hey, don't do this, that, or the other thing because it'll change the timeline. So don't go to these certain places or whatever. That might be weird little certain rules that we have in there that weren't really to violate your freedom, just to make sure the timeline didn't get changed. But let you do
Yeah.
whatever you wanted, other than the weird little rules that we had.
Mhm.
So so people would take advantage of that, and then they'd fall in love. How can you not? And
Yeah.
then they'd have kids and be in love, and they knew it was coming. And every time they'd
Right.
think they could have some sort of, like, I remember like a lot of times, like, can't you just, you're time traveling, just come back like 20, 30 years, do it in a minute for yourself.
Yeah.
I'll be
Mhm.
ready to go.
Mhm.
I'm like, doesn't that's not how this works every time.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't think there ever was a time. Maybe there was two or three. I'm not sure, but I don't think there ever was a time where we're like, oh fuck it, okay, we'll come back in 20, 30 years. I think the only time that people were ever able to pull that off is they said, oh, I found out this other thing and we could do more. That was the only way you'd ever be able to talk us into that. Is if you're like, dude, check out what I found. I found this new intel, and there's this thing, and da 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 da, and I think I could get it, and then we could do this thing. And if it was actually like a good idea, I'd be like, all right, I'll be right back. And then I go and I talk to everybody about it, talk to the computer or whatever, and then come back and be like, okay, we're gonna let you stay here for another X amount of time, but you have to accomplish what you say you're gonna accomplish, or we're gonna be pretty pissed off. And so
Mhm.
that was the one way that people would kind of have a occasionally, and it didn't always work. I remember the people doing that and be like, yeah, that's kind of a good idea. I get it. Thank you for being inventive, soldier, but time to go back to base. And they'd
Yeah.
have to be like, all right, you know
And
what I
then I
mean?
guess
And it
we're
did get
taken
eventually to the
back.
point where after you have that happen to you 3 or 4 or 5 times, where you get dragged off like that, eventually you just know better than to put up a fight. You know what I
Yeah, you
mean?
don't. Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
just.
that was never fun. That was always like one of my worst favorite
Mhm.
things to do.
Yeah,
The
cuz
least favorite things to do
you're
is going. I can't hear you. Your microphone's off.
my mic is off. Is it off?
Well, it says I should be able to. Hey, I think my sound card went out. Just a second. This keeps on happening to me. I
Can y'all hear me?
I gotta change something. One
I think
second.
sometimes, cuz your
This has
energy
been
and
a
everything
problem.
too.
I found the solution thanks to Bill Tyson, who was always so helpful. But I unplugged
It
my
just sounds
thing in order to plug
staticky.
in my light.
That's all.
So now I gotta just change some settings real quick, and we should be good. 1 second.
How does mine sound?
Um, sound. I'm gonna leave. I think I actually have to leave the studio and come back. So
Gosh.
just 1 second. I'll be right.
Okay. How does mine sound? Does it sound okay? I think it does. Yeah, it was just his. That was all staticky, huh? So everybody doing okay? Y'all have any questions for us? You can ask in the chat if you want to. Any of the Montauk, that's what we're talking about tonight, is the Montauk experiences. And in my book here too, this one is the first book that I wrote with the Warrior's Ledger. So this was the first one, and then the second one is Montauk. It'll have Montauk, and then the third one is it'll be My Lab, and SSP Mission. So there's 3 books in the series. So this first one is all about missions that I've done within the programs, and then we're talking about Montauk tonight because I wrote about me and Arkheim at Montauk. Well, I wrote about all of us, so my memories of Montauk. So, oh, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is it all good?
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, I have a music making the sound card thing, and I use it for my headphones. And I usually or Bill, my buddy Bill, showed me how to make that not happen anymore with a little power source, like a cell phone power source. But
Yeah.
I forgot about my light, and so I used it to plug my light, and then it went out as it inevitably always does because I didn't have
Oh, okay.
a. Anyway, but it's
Well,
fine
I
now.
was
We're good.
talking about like because I remember you come in to extract me, and then the whole family there. It was like me, my husband, and then I keep thinking 3 kids.
So
So
would we actually take the kids and sometimes too?
yeah, everything is removed, and then so the kids, everybody is like mind wiped, and I don't even know where everybody's separated, so I
That's
don't
not
know where they go.
that's not always how we did things. Sometimes we would just leave the
Leave the
family
kid.
there.
Oh,
Yeah,
leave like
just
the
the wife
husband.
and the kids. We just leave them there, and
Oh, I see.
as long as it was kind of like ineffectual to the timeline, which we were usually able to tell through
Yeah,
time oracles.
yeah.
We just leave them there.
No, we was all being because I know the guy who was my husband in that, and he remembers that too. And he said we was all not the kids, but me and him was investigated like in an interrogation room, and then mind wiped. So and then he went on. I don't even know where he went. So
I just want to give a heads up to the audience. I have ADHD, so I'm not looking at the chat because otherwise I won't be able to pay attention to Christy. But later on, towards the end, before we wrap things up, I'll get into questions and you guys can ask Christy some questions.
mhm.
I hope that makes sense. I admire, like, I do shows with Jessica Jones and she's really good at interviewing people, but at the same time interacting with her audience, and it's like you got
Yeah.
to be like using your whole brain to do that. It's really hard for me. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
but
I
then
can see the chat too. That
yeah.
Yeah, if there's any questions they can ask, make it like so we don't have to read a whole lot because we can't really, it's hard to kind of read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It goes by real fast,
I just figured we could maybe do that at the end
Yeah,
to wrap
okay.
it up.
Yeah, cool. So and
Um,
then talk about like when you had all of us kids there and you was eating something. So talk about that because I put that in the book because that was like a memory too that comes up if with you. Because it didn't
basic.
matter what you was even eating, it's just your mind was um just full of just like it was like fixing to blow up no matter what, and just one little thing did it.
Yeah, I actually did have a really bad anger problem. I didn't just like, yeah, protect. I did it. It came out of protection, but yeah, I just was an asshole. I'm sorry about that. I really am. I was a fucking dick. But and when they put me back too for a while, I was like that. After they put me back, I was like,
No, I can't
I had a real
imagine doing that. Yeah, I can
yeah, I had a really
imagine you
bad
was
anger
even
problem.
worse because you didn't even care about anything probably after that the second time,
I
like
had a
that.
really bad teenage years. My life would have been probably a lot better if it wasn't for all the trauma from Montauk that I didn't even know. I didn't remember it. But that's
It's
the
like
whole.
maxing you out as much as they can and then keeping on and then they let off for just a little bit and then just keep on like they just don't let up off of you and Jimmy. And I know that James was I forgot his name there. What was his name?
Henry.
Okay. I didn't remember, so I just put JR in there. Um, but he was like Preston's favorite at the time because he was there when he was little, and they messed with him all the time. He was like their favorite. So they made him be in charge of. I don't know how many bases there were, but there was several. And he had to go around to all of them, and he had a role to I guess more or less. I seen one time he was writing out the list of things for y'all to do at the base, and then you just wadded it up and threw it on the floor. Like he knows that that's what you're gonna do, but his job is just to do those kinds of things, just to irritate, in that
Mhm.
way, and it still has to be done. Um, and because he would be like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna do this then," and you don't care,
Yeah,
So
something that would happen a lot at Montauk, and it's part of the reason why the place was it was so dirty.
yes,
Was they'd be like, um, it'd be like an order would be given to you. Like for instance, that order would be given to me: mop the bathrooms, da 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 da, this, that, and the other thing.
yeah,
And I'd go to some kid, maybe you or someone else,
mhm,
somebody who's powerful, not just one of the kids. They stand out. Somebody who stands out and be willing to give a little more responsibility to,
mhm,
And I
yeah,
go to them and I'd be like, hey, you fucking maggot,
mhm,
clean the fucking bathrooms, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of
yeah,
times they'd be just like me.
yeah,
Throw it on the floor. Hey,
yeah,
hey, you underneath me. And that would just
uh-huh,
happen.
uh-huh,
They'd keep on, hey, you
yeah,
maggot. Then
uh-huh,
that
oh
person that
yeah,
I ordered goes to some
yeah,
kid that they can order
right,
around. And then
right,
that kid and then it just doesn't
mhm,
happen.
yeah,
You
and I
know?
think I can see that too, yeah, and
Yeah, for
you,
real. That was an actual really bad problem.
yeah, and you like that, you like to see that kind of thing too, because it was
Because
funny,
because it was funny. It was
mhm,
hilarious.
mhm,
It was
yeah,
actually pretty funny. Yeah.
mhm. Because we're standing up for ourselves, and we're doing things that you do, so it's funny because
And I was allowed to order people around, so I was allowed. I
yeah,
mean, I probably get the shit slapped out of me eventually or whatever, but I could be like, well, I told so and so to do it. They're supposed to listen to me, aren't they?
mhm,
And then
yes,
somebody would get the shit beaten out of them eventually, though. That's the thing about that.
yeah,
Somebody would get the shit beaten out of them eventually.
oh yeah, oh
It
yeah,
would either be me or somebody else.
definitely. I mean, you can't always protect us, because we wouldn't always be able to do 100% like they asked. They said like bring out 100% of Raylene, and then if I couldn't do that, then there'd be repercussions, So with whatever they're asking. But most of the time I could, because I was used to. It was like nothing to do the things that they asked us, because y'all also trained. Like I remember you told me to told me to go with you to like places and then give people aneurysms. Like we'd be sitting at the
Hmm.
park, and you tell me whoever it was, and then to give them an aneurysm.
Didn't he say that sometimes I was doing that not for the project but for
Yeah,
myself?
for your own vendetta, almost like that.
Who was I? Do you know who I was doing it to?
Well, I see an old man in my mind. Like he looks like he's like 90 with a hat on. So it might even be somebody like you knew, like a family member or something. Like seems like something like that. Like he looks, because he has a kid there at the park, so it might be somebody that abused you, that was like a fatherly figure and then abused you, so you're coming back around, you know?
Hmm.
So I think so, because we went to a complete another timeline, like you found him, and maybe that was him in that timeline,
Wow.
and you didn't, you just had me do it.
Do you remember the Italian fellow named Bernatello Benevici? I think it was.
Like what was
He
you had
he
to give me a
was
place.
he was a very short man, but he wasn't like what you would call a little person. He didn't have the um whatever the technical term for that is. He was technically not a little person, but he was pretty short, like very short.
Well, what does he
And
do, like and all that?
he was like a Leonardo da Vinci kind of figure. He would invent things. He wrote poetry. He painted, and he eventually became a politician in Italy, and did really positive things for civilization, and was a really great man. And unfortunately, I was part of the time missions that erased him from reality. And I just always remember that guy and how great he was.
Oh yeah.
They made me be his friend and
Yeah.
gather intel on him and betray him.
Did he take his music and all that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably took
So
his
they did
music.
that a lot. Took everybody's music, you know?
Yeah, they took yeah. But like the real sad part was just like yeah, he contributed to humanity in a
Yeah, I
really
can see that.
positive way. And
Yeah, I
then
can see you
they
really
got rid of
angry at
him.
him too. You was like really angry at him for something. Like I can feel your anger because I think
I don't know. I
they
don't know
would make
why.
you they would make you though because they would say like make them like he's better than you know, all the time like say that. So they pushed you far enough so he's like fuck it, I'm gonna just get rid of him then, then there won't be any more of him, and then I'll be the favorite, or something like that.
Huh, so do you think
Because
that
something like that where you and him were friends and then they get jealous of that, and then they start saying stuff. So that's just how it happens is if you have anything that you care about, they will use it against you in
yeah,
any
I
way.
was the one who killed him?
Well, I
Um
don't think did he die. It looked like you just kind of wiped him out, like
I
you
think
wiped his mind and he's like
I think
void.
that I think he got killed. I should be clear. I think that I killed him, but I don't know for sure. But
I don't know.
I have this memory. Basically, it was he was living in Florence, Italy, and he was moving to somewhere else. And it might have not even been Florence, but he was moving from one city to another. And because his laboratory started on fire,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
he thought he'd be better off if he went to a different city or
And
something
then
like
so
that.
how did he die? I mean, like how did you
I
do it?
just remember that he had one of those brooms that was just like all books everywhere, and he had the ladders that could roll that rolled
Yeah.
that so he could climb up and grab books because he's just so smart. He just read so many fucking books. This guy, like every book in
Mhm.
that library, he probably read it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he was like basically like gathering his favorite books. He couldn't bring them all, and I remember standing there, and his back was facing me, and thoughts and floods of
Mhm.
feeling guilty and thoughts flooding of feeling really sad, really guilty that I love this guy, and just like feeling so sorry and
Yeah.
feel like a feeling of just like pain and just like sorrow and like heartache at the fact
Mhm.
that this great man he's about like I just knew like in moments he's gonna be wiped from history
Yeah.
and no one's gonna remember him.
I can see how cheerful like
He was
he is,
he was a cheerful fellow. He was like a real life hobbit, man. That's
Even
kind
if
of what he was
you
like. He was kind of like a real life hobbit,
yeah,
except
cuz
wasn't
like even
lazy at all. Hobbits are
no,
kind of lazy, you know. He's like a really
just like a
productive,
scholar,
yeah,
like
like a
that.
really productive hobbit. That's what he was like.
Yeah. And he probably even knew at some time that you was coming to I guess if you was I don't see how you do it. If how you
It's blanked out for me. What happens
because
next?
I see you in the his library thing with him up on the thing like
But I
that,
can't
getting you
remember
a
whether
book
I
because you're
killed
like,
him or whatever.
because you came in there to visit him and you knew it's like you knew you had to do it.
And I
It's
was
like
trying to
you
talk
was
him out.
like trying to
And I was trying to talk him into staying and not leaving without sounding weird.
yeah
I was like, you don't
yeah
want to go to the other
uh-huh.
city, and he's
Oh,
like,
maybe there was like a car bomb or something like that. Maybe
yeah,
something.
I'm not sure, but yeah, this was I think late 1800s or something like that. It was like our trains. There was like trains, and
Mhm.
some people like the world was becoming more globalized, I guess, and connected, but it was still old timey, if that makes any sense. Like maybe the telephone
Seems
got
like you wanted
invented.
to tell him not to go there. Like, but they told you they're gonna do that to him, like that too. So you're just like trying to get him to
Yeah,
not go.
I just remember feeling guilty and the feeling of like
Hmm
I have betrayed this
I
man.
think you even watched it.
Cause he grew up with me. They would place us in lives, all
Hmm
right, like entire lives. And you remember that, and that's
hmm
what they did to me. And I was like his neighbor, and I
Yeah.
grew up with him and became his friend.
Yeah.
And they sent John Whitberg on the same time mission.
Mhm.
He wrote about it in one of his books, and I was like, dude, what the heck? That's the same guy. So one of us failed. It was probably him, and one of us succeeded.
Hmm.
And I don't say that like, oh, he's a failure. Like, good. He probably loved them too much to be able to fuck him over like that. Good for him.
Hmm.
And he probably got punished really bad for it too. But
I guess
anyway,
the guy had to be taken out. I don't
no, they
know.
were obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Just like, do you remember the Church of the Holy Sacred Heart from New York City? Aquino
Mhm.
was obsessed with them, and the son of Sam
Mhm.
was a guy they mind controlled to start killing people. And then there was also a psychological operation carried out under Aquino where they started killing people in New York City, and they basically made it so that the Church of the Holy Sacred Heart never existed in this timeline. And they would do
Hmm.
stuff like after we bombed Iraq, they went there right away as in a plane. They had a plane with food and blankets and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't America. We're America.
Mhm.
We follow Jesus. America's Christians, and just made our government look really bad. And obviously, they couldn't have that, so they had to get rid of them.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
So
that was
they
one
just
thing I
discarded
remember.
it, or I forgot what they did with the food and the blankets. But probably like blew up the plane or something, or what? What did they do?
They made it. They no. So the mission that we went on made it so that the church never even. These people never even went on to create. We
Oh,
cut it. We cut it at the umbilical cord kind of
I
thing.
see.
Like
Yeah.
we killed it before it was even conceptualized as an idea.
Mhm.
Because time travel, we could do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's been many things where we stop things from existing before they even exist.
Mhm.
That's how we would get rid of things.
How do you explain how we're able to sit in the chair and open up a portal to people? How do you explain that?
Um, that chair has technology that amplifies thoughts, and from what I remember, there'd be a mirror there. I guess eventually it was a machine that some sort of weird machine that they made. I'm seeing that now for the first time. There was mirrors, and then it turned, and then it evolved. When they first started doing it was mirrors, but then eventually they got this machine thing there that was kind of like the mirror, but I guess it worked more efficiently or something. And you look at that, it was like this quantum net thing, wave thing. They'd
Mhm.
have you look at that instead of the mirror,
Okay.
and I think it worked better. But
Mhm.
at first, it was just literally a mirror, a
Yeah.
plain old mirror that you can buy
Mhm.
at Walmart or Target or any department store in the world. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they would have the kids look at it, and they'd be like, "Okay, we need you to." They'd be like, first, they'd be like, "Remote view. We need you to look at ancient Rome. Let's just give an random example. Like the Colosseum. It's just, I'm not saying this. It probably did. I don't know, but like, let me try to actually give an example of one that actually happened because I'll be able to describe it easier. Let's think here. Yeah, I don't know. That was one of them that they would do. It was ancient Rome a lot. They changed all that big time. It was way different. The Roman Empire went on for thousands of years. It would still be going on right now. Right now, the Roman Empire would still be a thing if it
Mm.
wasn't for Montauk. Not kidding. And technically, the Roman Empire as it was, we gained control of it, and the American Empire as it is now, we gained control of it. So technically, the Roman Empire and the American Empire technically are the same thing. In fact, one of the famous guys, I think it might even be Caesar. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, but one of the famous guys from that time is literally Al Bielek.
Oh, okay.
You can look at the busts and then look at Al Bielek. It's the same fucking guy. He literally went back to ancient Rome and like was a
Mhm.
famous ancient Rome guy for a whole
Yeah, they did
life.
that. Yep.
Yeah, and like I went back there and did stuff too. In fact, I believe I was there in the times of Jesus. It's all really
Mhm.
blurry right now, but I remember being in the same room as Jesus. I remember what he looks like. And no, he did not have white skin and long hair like they depicted him. He looked totally different. He had shorter black hair and he looked like a dark skinned Jew. To be honest with you, you look like a dark-skinned Jew,
Yeah,
and
because
that
they
which would
they
make
make a whole
sense.
bunch of different versions of people to confuse people in that way too.
Yeah, it's confusing to me too. But like, yeah, he kind of got brownish. It was brown. I mean, his skin was so dark, I would say it was
Yeah.
brown. But he did have
Mhm.
like the European-looking kind of features as well. It's hard to describe, but there's a picture that they have where it's like DNA reconstruction of what Jesus would look like, where they apparently found his actual DNA and reconstructed it. It's about right. It's a little bit off. They didn't get the it quite right, but it does look more accurate than the white version of
Mhm.
Jesus. That's the fake version that was invented as a tulpa, by the way, to take people's energy from the real Jesus.
Mm.
It's a black magic thing.
Mhm. And then remember you had said something about going on a mission, like the something with Starfire. You said or something, or you said that there was some mission you went on lately, like a time soldier mission, and you think I was there with you. So you want to talk about that, like other things other than Montauk, like what we do?
Oh, I've been having these weird dreams that I know are real, but it's like beyond this life, beyond this reality, like higher self stuff. And there's 7 of us,
Mhm.
and we meet, and it's like our powers combine, Captain Planet kind of feeling. I don't know what it is. It's like we combine and become one bigger thing,
Yeah.
and it's just I can't explain it. It's like on the tip of my tongue, like the memory, but yet it's not there. It's like you can almost taste it, but you can't see it. And I
Mhm.
was hoping maybe you remember that a little
Yeah, I
bit.
can
Like,
feel it. I can feel the electricity, like with all of us, with the creating like the energy of all of us together. It's like it makes my eyes watery.
wow.
But I don't know. I think we just are we like the Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of that kind of a thing in that way, where we would go to different. Where would we even go to? Because we're going to. I can't even find where we
I think we
go.
are doing stuff. I've been seeing it in
This.
my head. Yeah, do you
Yeah.
ever remember using a light sword? Lightsaber?
Yeah,
This
I can see doing that. That's easy. For I don't feel like I use that a lot though. I use
I, wa-
more psionic abilities,
I want to
with
say something right now. Tony Rodriguez has said in interviews publicly that anybody who says that lightsabers are real is like they're probably fake and they're lying. And I
mhm.
just want to put it out there that
Yeah.
he's not being a facetious or trying to fuck with people by saying that. I could see why he would think that. But I want to explain something, and I mean this with full due respect in my heart because his testimony is totally real, and I believe him that he's never seen a lightsaber and stuff, and so he probably thinks it's bullshit. But he was a slave on a breakaway colony. He didn't see the kind of shit we saw. You know what I mean? And they are
Mhm.
real, and there are
Mhm.
warriors who use them. He just never was
Yeah.
exposed to anything like that. Counting one black helicopter, one black helicopter over the interview with Christy Campbell. So those of you who voted one, we're at one now. There's a black helicopter flying over my
Oh
apartment right
really?
now. Yeah.
Oh, you was counting how many you'll have?
I did a poll. I don't know if you saw it. A
I
poll
didn't.
for the audience to guess how many times a black helicopter will fly over my house during the next interview.
Oh, how
Because
many?
every they fly over my house, and it's not all day every day, but it sure does seem like every time they fly over, it's when I'm doing an interview. It's really weird. Because the
Yeah.
ice facilities here, so that's what the helicopters are here for, is the ice facility. I live in Portland, Oregon,
Mhm.
and but I live in Northwest Portland, so they're usually flying over that other part of the city, but they come over here every once in a while, and it's strangely enough seems to be when I'm doing interviews. Weird
Yeah.
coincidence.
Mhm. And notice how any changes in you know, see if it's done like energy weapon or whatever is done. If you feel any difference or your behavior or whatever, and
I felt a
send
lot
the
of
energy back.
yeah, I felt a lot of empowerment and lately and taking my power back
Mhm.
and doing all this stuff and big part of it being I was having these experiences with these Japanese people kidnapping me and doing all this, make me do all this weird shit,
Yeah.
and it made me feel so powerless. And then
Mhm.
about 2 days later, I got the memory back of like basically like telling these guys like off before I slaughtered them. And like I actually remember, we rescued about 30 kids, but I particularly remember one of them that didn't have a name. And gave her a name,
Mhm.
and I kept visiting her and stuff, and kind of looked at her like a daughter. And
Mhm.
but it was a really positive memory to get back because
Mhm.
it just showed me that I'm not just like. Sorry, I've already said this earlier in the interview, but it showed me that I'm not powerless, and that there are versions of us out there that I think that's part of the reason why the bleed throw is happening to begin with for our memories and different alters is there are versions of us that are very strong, very powerful, who have decided that in order to keep every version of us safe, we have to all be aware of each other. So they've begun melting these barriers that this programming has put up in order to kind of form a collective net of self-protection.
Mm.
So like it's all every version of you is looking out for you because
Mhm.
you are one organism.
Mhm.
So that's what all organisms do. They protect themselves. And every version of you is you. So therefore, every version of you, it's only natural out of a sense of survival. Is want to get in line with each other in order to work with each other for the purpose of survival. It's just like
Yeah.
instincts basically kicking in and taking
Mhm.
over.
Yeah, and completing the missions too. Getting the missions done. 'Cause I
Do
see
you?
like a lot of missions that Electra, I can see like she made a whole bunch of different aspects. So, and then all of those, and then some of them are even like alien aspects. So they're
Yeah.
kind of all over the place.
I mean, I would say Electra was not human. The original version of Electra
Mm,
was definitely not human.
no,
Looked human, like humanoid, but not human.
yeah.
Um, One thing I want to ask you about is do you remember the Reign of Terror period ending and the reform that happened when Jimmy became commander of Project Phoenix 2?
Well, I was talking to him about that, like whenever a couple of years ago when we were doing that interview on Rob's show.
Mm-hmm.
um because we was kind of comparing notes and stuff with what I remember, and then he was telling me that when he took over, then the kids, I guess, I remember that I had to be put like back in a tank, like a regen tank, and then he remembers that they were wheeling me off and taking me to another base, and then I can see that too, like just some other
That
place.
they got rid of you from his life
Yeah, and
to
he stayed
traumatize
there.
him,
Yeah, he said he was.
just like they did to me with Evelyn.
Yeah, he said he
Same shit,
couldn't.
different pile. These people aren't very
Yeah,
creative. They just do the same
he
shit
he
over and over again.
watched it. They let him watch it. Them he watched them wheel me off. He said, and then so he said he wasn't right after that. Like nothing, like zero emotion after that. There was, so that's what they do, and
Yeah,
then I
I
think that's.
remember another thing Joseph told me too was like kind of going along with this was like,
Mhm.
and like I said with the weird torture stuff that they did this that they stopped doing, they wouldn't do it anymore because they realized it was too much. Is like they didn't know what they're doing to the point where they were counterproductive. They made really powerful assets weaker by emotionally fucking with them. You got to be a little emotionally stable and kind of you have to be centered in a way to be a warrior.
Yeah,
Like your inner world can't have all this turmoil and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, because
And
you'll get off of it because you'll just go blow up the
yeah,
whole
so
place.
a lot of the things that they did to control us, I think backfired
Mhm.
and didn't work.
Yeah, because the kids, it seems like us kids saved you and Jimmy, like in a way, we saved you because it was kind of like you could restructure and live through us how you would have wanted to be or something in that way. And then so it kind of was a way that I can see it kind of helping. We
It's kind of
helped
like
you.
it was kind of like the story of you and Jimmy, where it was one of the kids from the time period that you got brought in. She got brought in, and her name was Cassandra, and
Mhm.
I fell in love with her. It was like a thing where she was getting like gang raped in one of the rooms, and I found it, and I stopped it just because I didn't want, it wasn't a sanctioned thing or anything. It was just like guys from the base
Mhm.
being pigs basically, and so I rescued her. But then that made her have like a bond kind of with me, where she felt
Mhm.
safe because I rescued her, which would be called the trauma bond. I mean, that's how they program us to have trauma twins.
Mhm.
And so I always felt this guilt, like I programmed her to be my trauma fucking twin. I didn't realize it at the time, but I realized it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fell in love with her, and
Mhm.
she is arguably what saved me from like I didn't just think love was just like this weak thing anymore. Like
Mhm. Yeah, because it's like your original, like the purity or something of of how you could love someone,
also, I
before
don't think
you even.
it wasn't planned by the controllers either.
No, no, that's not. Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
real love, like your first love, and you haven't been burned or anything. So then after that, then it kind of breaks you down more and more.
Number two with the black helicopter. It's flying over
Huh.
again right now.
Hmm.
Number two.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, like, because I remember that I had like four babies, and they would take the babies, and then Preston this is what he would do, because he would make Jimmy be gone. And he would be completely gone on a mission or something like that when I'm having the baby, and then they take the baby and then they put me in my room, and then so I don't get to even see it, and then they say, well, we're going to bring you the baby on next week, whatever, and then to wait there, or be good or do whatever or however,
And then
and then
they would never
yeah,
bring the
they don't
baby.
even show. They don't even. No, it's like no phone call. You know how you don't get it, you wait all day and nothing happens, and then you know,
And then eventually they just show up and are like, "Hey, here's this mission you got to go on." And
yeah,
you
and then
and you ask about the kid, and they don't even answer you. They just walk out of the
yeah,
room.
they're like, I don't know about no kid, and then they say, oh, well, Jimmy didn't do this, so this is why, or they would say, oh, probably because this, so nobody gave you an answer to anything. And then so they would use those kids though in the program. Like that kid was probably already gone into another family or something. Like they would bring him at first, like a few times for the baby that I seen, and then they would just not. They would stop coming. They wouldn't bring the baby anymore. Or he would
It was
bring it.
really terrible, and I'm
Preston would
sorry that
bring
you
it.
went through that.
Yeah, that's why that I remember all of that. So because it was like
I know I went
emotional.
through it too. I went through it as well.
Yeah, and because they would bring the baby, and then Preston would just go, because I remember I heard his keys. He had a lot of keys on his, like I heard the keys all the time, and then he would just go and do something, and then he would come right back, and then I just barely even get to see the baby, and so that's traumatizing too. He'd be like, like time's up, or whatever, and just take the baby. And then Jimmy, he was there one time, but he waited outside. He didn't come in to do. He didn't want to bond with the baby or me or nothing anymore. And he was just waiting. He's kind of on guard out there. And it's like Preston's coming. So yeah, we just that's really it's that created a lot of heartache, without those memories. I wrote a
Yeah.
whole bunch of poetry and stuff, like channeling his rage and stuff, Jimmy's rage and thoughts and stuff. Like I
Hmm.
could do that, and I could write too a bunch of stuff with that. Yeah, that went deep.
Do you remember the Rothschilds?
No.
Because I found out that my name it was Jacob Rothschild. I knew that, I remembered it, but then I wasn't sure. And then I found out through other people that it was my last name at Montauk. I did have a last name, and it was Rothschild. And I really don't identify with those crocodile-looking motherfuckers at all. I don't think I am a Rothschild. I think it's more of one of the things where, like the Draco, the reptiles, like they'll name. Like for instance, like Joseph has an alter named Pindar, who
Oh
serves
yeah.
the Draco Royal named Pindar.
Hmm.
Well, I kind of think it's the same thing. I think I was being controlled by Jacob Rothschild,
Oh, okay.
and so he named me Jacob Rothschild as a sign of ownership.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's really confusing. I'm really confused about that. That's why I'm asking you about it.
I don't know. That isn't. I don't. It's like
My
another place, that happened with you because they took you and like they like make explain the time loop. How it just seems like we were there. I don't think we're still there. I don't feel that. I feel that's ended, but it feels like another Montauk is going on someplace else.
I saw Preston a month ago.
Yeah, so it's going on someplace else.
Did you hear about that yet?
No, maybe you said you saw him a month ago, and what happened? I forgot. You said I thought I saw a
I got
video
sent
on
to
that.
some alternate reality Earth that was really primitive. They sent me really far back in time. I don't remember why I was there, but I know it was an alternate reality version of Earth because I don't know if you remember, but if you go to the realities that are real far away from our frequency,
Yeah,
everything looks like you're looking at it through like a kaleidoscope or something,
yeah.
and it's like the TikTok app. You know how the TikTok app looks weird like that? The TikTok symbol? That's what it looks like. Everything is like going like, and it's like colors are weird. That's what it was like. And
Mm,
Alondra Markman was the one who made me remember that because he described that during like a interview that I saw, and I remembered that. And
mm,
that's how I know it was in an alternate reality. And I don't really remember why I was there, but then I remember I woke up with all this stuff hooked up to my brain.
mm-hmm.
And Preston was at a console in front of me, a computer
Oh,
console thing. And I'm screaming. And he's like, "Oh, relax, bird brains. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just getting some information from you, and then I'm going to put you back."
mm-hmm.
And he was mocking me about my attention span and my IQ and like how social media has been like ruining my brain and like how I don't finish any of my songs. You don't finish. How many songs have you written?
Oh
You
yeah.
don't. Yeah, and
I remember
you
you
don't.
said that. I remember you
Yeah,
said something with that. I remember a video or a post or something like that.
yeah, he didn't. And so I still see the guy. I guess I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on
he
with that.
he harasses you or something. He probably harasses all the guys.
She fucking needs to get a life, dude.
Yeah. I
Like I don't know,
I
man.
don't ever see him.
There was a few times where he showed up to the chat and on the show. Uh,
Okay.
Did you know about that?
No,
Uh,
but I can see that.
Yeah, he showed up
He
to the
can
chat.
intervene in a timeline, like that.
Yeah,
So, what do
and
you say or do?
um he kept on calling me my child.
Mm.
Um uh Mocked me for still having my Facebook, which was goes along with him.
Mhm.
Like when I saw him and he's like bird brain and social media, all those apps are mind control. They are
Mhm.
all mind control. So when he sees me, oh, anti mind control. How many hours did you spend on Instagram in the since last
Oh.
time I saw you? Like anti mind control guy here. Like it's so he's mocking me, and the sad part is he's kind of right. Um, but yeah, just stuff like that, and then I had fake ones, then copycats coming in and pretending to be him. So there was him, and then there were some fake ones that were pretending to be him to troll.
Mhm.
But he was really in the chat for a couple times.
I can see that.
Yeah.
He just like he has an attachment or something. Oh, he's nasty. He's so
He's
perverted with you.
yeah, he is. He's really perverted with me. He's obsessed with me.
Mhm.
He's like in love with me.
Yeah.
And the first thing that he said to me when I
Do
was
you
about to
think
do
that's his helicopters flying over or him
I don't
sending him?
I think that it has to do with the programs, and I think that they
Mhm.
are aware. I don't know though. But the first thing that he said to me in the here and now, well, other than so what happened was Kimberly McMurphy and Joseph Powell did a session with me, and Joseph was like, "Hey man, chill out, meditate, put on some like relaxing music, and I'll see you in like 30, 40 minutes." He's like, "Just meditate until I call you. Have your thing open so you just hear it and you don't have to think about it, and just meditate." So I did, and then he came in my mind. Preston did telepathically,
Mm.
and I could tell that he was using a version of me at Montauk as the conduit to do it. I could see me there, like lying on the table. And
Oh.
he was like, "Are you sure you want to do this, kid? You got a pretty nice life." He's like, "If you do this, you're opening up a can of worms." He's like, "You're not going to be able to just live a normal life anymore." He's like, "Are you sure you want to fuck up your life like that?" And I was like, "Dude, I've had a whole lifetime stolen from me. I didn't even understand it's plural lifetimes yet."
Mhm.
But and I was just like, "Fuck you, dude. Yeah, I want to remember this. How
Mhm.
dare you try to tell me that it's it's flying near but not over right now. I think it's coming this way. Sorry, it's kind of distracting, but I gotta try to
Mhm.
not give it pay any mind. But what was I saying, Christy?
With him you laying on the table and him saying about your memories coming back,
Oh
you
yeah, and
know?
the thing he said all this stuff, and he basically tried to get me to not do the call with Joseph. He tried to talk me out of it. It's literally what he was doing, as if
Mhm.
that would have worked somehow. It was a
Mhm.
last ditch effort to try to get me to not go down this path.
Mhm.
And at the end of it all, he goes, "Sorry things didn't work out with you and your little girlfriend," referring to my trauma twin that I grew up with in Appleton, who I already figured out she was at Montauk, as Joseph told me. That was like when I figured that out really early on. And she's the reason why my love for her and it not making sense.
Yeah. No, I
Because,
remember you
like,
talking about that.
yeah, because it's like, okay, she's a cool girl and everything, and she's pretty, but like, we didn't spend enough time together for me to fall as madly in love with her as I was.
Mhm.
It didn't make sense, and it is what scared her off, I think, a little bit too, and probably programming stuff as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, he said, "Sorry
Yeah.
things didn't work out between you and your little girlfriend." And it was so spiteful the way he said it.
Yeah,
So
he
fucking
messed with that.
spiteful. He
He
messed with
totally
it.
messed with her for sure.
Yeah, he messed with her and made her
Yeah.
afraid of me on purpose.
Yeah. 100%.
Just to hurt me because he's a psychopath.
Cuz he's like obsessed with you and James too, you know? Like that. Like there was an obsession. I don't know, I think Jimmy kind of beat him at his game so he wasn't as into that with Jimmy or something. But with I can see him still doing stuff with James, messing with him.
Oh yeah, it's really just that's a guy I wish I just never ever had to meet. Who do you think he is? You know, we're all figuring out where these ancient beings.
Huh, he's like a remember, like on that movie Weird Science, the Chet, the brother, he's like that guy, that big blob,
I've
kind
never
of
seen
that's
that.
what
I've never seen
he's
that, so
like
I
a
don't.
big blob of like a worm or something, like a parasite. That's a big worm, you
He
know?
is like that. He is a worm.
Those worms that are like massive and then they get in people. Like I think that. And then
Yeah.
they can pull him out and then he's like he grows, he never dies. He just regenerates. So you smash him or you burn it and it then just
Because he's in
regenerates.
all these different timelines. I remember that one of the things that was really fun for me is Preston got kicked out of Project Phoenix 2.
Oh, he
And I
did?
got sent in, yeah, he did after the junior incident and the end of the Reign of Terror and Jimmy taking over. We kicked him out
Oh
of the
yeah.
project. And but me in the time bubble, I would go to all these other with Marduk. I would go to those other realities, and I saw him all the time,
Yeah.
different versions of
Yeah,
him.
he's like so like slimy, scummy, lazy in all of these places. Like he just wants to slum off everybody and manipulate and kind of like that. Yeah, he does that.
The contract. There was a question about in the thing. Um, I'm trying to take him at the end of the show, just to let you guys know. But I'll answer this one. Did Earth make a contract with the Nazis to run the country we live in? Can you explain what both sides get out of the agreement? Yes. So the Nazis didn't want to give up and were willing to just scorch the whole earth in order to win the war. So we signed a treaty with them, and basically, the contract is that we have to give them 10,000 bodies every year, which they do through cloning and the
Mm.
program, so that way they don't have to do it out in the open or kidnapping. And a bunch of other stuff, money, taxes, and things like that. And so basically, we are renting the country, but it is actually technically like the Nazis didn't actually lose the war, but I don't like saying that either. We just weren't willing to bring the war to an even further degree of destruction. Is the best way to put it. So we signed a treaty. I don't consider it losing. I consider it more as we decided that was our peace treaty. We signed a peace treaty with them, and
Mm-hmm.
arguably they kind of laid their dicks on our faces with it. We were the ones who got fucked over by the treaty. History thinks that the Germans got fucked over, but we are actually the ones who got fucked over by the real treaty. And it's eternal. It's not going to expire. We always have to give them until something happens and we just stand up for ourselves or something like that. We continue have to be having to give them taxes and give them things. So it's a shitty situation, but it is better than having the whole planet like scorched earth blown up by Nazis. It's better than that at least. So, and I don't know if you remember any of that, but that's what I
Well, I
remember.
just remember hearing Penny and Joseph talking about the Draco collecting taxes and stuff, you know. So, but
Yeah.
I don't. I just heard their video, you know.
Yeah. Um
You about ready to wrap it up?
yeah, sure, we can wrap it up.
This is
Is
an
there
hour and a
anything
half.
Yeah, is there anything you want to let anybody know before we
Well, you know,
go?
show my book and talk about that. So and then we can. That's
Okay,
really what
I've
I want to
got
talk about.
I've got links in the descriptions to
Okay.
all of your books.
All
Just
right.
the
Cool.
Amazon thing, and
Yeah, that's all I've been doing lately. It's like making books of all my art books and all
good
of
for
this.
you.
Yeah, just trying to you know, because I have so many all my different art pieces and poetry and all the downloads of everything and stuff, you know. So it's like DNA code, activation codes, and it's my artwork in there. Cosmic engineer. Have you seen all these? Galactic scribe, and I put my artwork in there.
Oh, cool.
And
Yeah,
then
I
I made
mean,
a kids book too to help little kids deal with like being overwhelmed, you know, and how to protect their energy and everything like that. So I kind of
that's
felt
really
like that was
cool.
like Raylene. Another one, just all my art. All of these have all different 72 pages of different art, and they're all on Amazon. Okay,
Cool.
yeah,
So yeah, I hope that the audience here gets you some of you
yeah,
buy some books, and thank you again for coming on the
yeah.
show. Thank you
Yeah, and look
so
for that
much.
Montauk. The Montauk book. It's on Amazon, and then also My Lab. I just published that today, so it's not live yet. You know, like I just finished, completed it, and talks about my 20 and back with George Bush Senior, who he has me call him father. You know, like that the whole time. So it's like a,
We should do a show on Project Ibis sometime. Like
yeah,
that's a
with the
whole rabbit
Kino.
hole.
Yeah, with the Kino and his wife Lilith. You know, they I put that in the book. Is that in that one or the other one? Is that in the
Um,
one you have, or is it? I think
I
it might
don't.
be in the first one.
It's probably in the first one. I don't think I remember that being in the
Yeah,
second.
I put that Ibis one in um with the Kinos, with the Michael Aquino.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. So you have information out that about that in your books already. So if people are interested in that, they should definitely, like I said, you've got all these books that are incredible, and yeah, I'm just excited for that. And I'm excited for a lot of this information to get out there.
It talks
And
about the mothers of darkness and the sense of the dark castle, you
mhm.
know,
And you
and
have
the dude.
a very good thing going on where
Hmm.
you're
Memories.
addressing you're addressing the what I like about you, Christy, is you address the darkness and stuff, and you have the books about that, but you also have some very purely positive books, Reiki healing,
Yeah.
books to help children, books with light codes. So I really
Hmm.
appreciate that about you and the fact that they weren't able to take your light from you and that you offer that light to the world
Yep.
still in service to the greater good. So cheers to that, and thank
Hmm.
you for coming on the show. I'm going to play a little song of mine for the end of the show in honor of spooky season. But I'm going to kick you off the stage now and end the show with a little
Okay.
single of mine.
Bye, guys.
So yeah, so I'll have you again sometime, and thanks again.
Hmm.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, guys, this is my new single. It's on bloth.bandcamp.com. It's called Terrible Truth, and it's about getting taken at night in the programs. And yeah, that's what the song's about. So enjoy.
Well, it's not yet quite the morning, but it's no longer the night. Something starts without a warning, causing a feeling of fight or flight. Faced under the covers where you lie, but you know there's nowhere you can go to hide. What a terrible truth, what a terrible lie that you have to tell yourself all the time. While you're looking at your future, which is looking at your past, trying to live in the present, but you can never make it last. You can never make it last. Well, it's not quite on the surface, but she can no longer hold it back. Finding out